The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency and Interlux Marine Paint.
Hi folks, Fred Golofaro here with this week's video forecast, and it's not a whole lot to smile about this week, mainly due to the weather. Effort's been weighed down due to all the wind and cold. Flounder season opened last Friday, but the only confirmed reports we're really getting are from the west end of the island, both on the North Shore and South Shore. Up on the North Shore, they've been coming from that City Island area, Pelham Bay Bridge, and also Orchard Beach Lagoon. On the South Shore, out of Sheepshead Bay, the Captain Dave on Saturday picked away at a few flounder. One angler did get his limit of 2 fish. Other people had 1 fish apiece, 1 keeper apiece. But at least it's a sign. Again, the weather really hasn't helped, hasn't been on our side. Cod was still stacked up off Block Island on Saturday. The Viking did a number on him again. That's 4 or 5 really good trips now they've had there where they just loaded up, left early, and the whole boat was limited out. They weren't able to get out until yesterday. Wednesday's the first day they got out since the weekend because of all the wind and all. Things were still a little unsettled. The fishing was not as good, but they still managed to put a good catch together. According to Captain Steve, although there were a lot of smaller fish in the mix. There was also an improvement in the cod fishing on the South Shore. Captain Al got out on Saturday. He called it the best fishing since the beginning of January, so that's an encouraging sign. Maybe that fishing's coming around too. Stripers, pretty good bite up on the Hudson now, and also Raritan Bay coming alive. Closer to home, Jamaica Bay, Little Neck Bay, they've had some action with Schoolies. All along the past few weeks there's been fish in some of the creeks and canals along the South Shore and some of the harbors, Manhasset Bay. So just look for that fishing to build as the month goes on. Even getting scattered reports of bluefish, believe it or not. This has been going on for well over a week now. Widely scattered and just 1 fish here, 1 fish there. But we've heard from Peconic Bay, the Smith Point Bridge, Fire Island Inlet, some of the mainland creeks, mainland docks in Lindenhurst, also in Blue Point, Raritan Bay. There's been a couple of bluefish caught. So, with all the bunker around, with the warmer winter we had, there's a very good chance we're going to see those fish pretty early. The past few years, they've been showing up by the last week of April in really good numbers. I'd expect it to happen even earlier this year, so make sure you've got your tackle ready. It's a lot of fun and a great way to start the season. The weather hasn't affected the trout fishing much. That's still a great bet, and a lot of saltwater guys are relying on trout to bend the rod these days. We've got a lot of good reports from around the island. Belmont Lake State Park, that family fishing festival was canceled Saturday due to all the rain, but they did stock the lake, so there's 2,000 trout swimming around there waiting to be caught. So you might want to check that out. I know some people did very well there. Also, Upper Lake in Yaphank was very good this past week. So, yeah, definitely worth giving it a shot. Good way to get the kids involved too. It's easy fishing, and doesn't cost a lot. You don't have to travel far, and of course, all that's going to change once the bass, bluefish, and weakfish get settled in. Until then, and until next week, this is Fred Golofaro for thefisherman.com.
The fishing news is brought to you by Shoreline Insurance Agency and Interlux Marine Paint.